Hello and welcome to round 9 of season 7 of Film versus Film. I am your host, Quinn Boys. I'm just trying to get a chip, and I am joined as always by my co-host representing the red, white, and green, Lady Smith Black Mambazo.
Lady Smith Black.
Lady Smith Black. Is that it? Is that not
Mambazo. It? That's not it. It's Leonard Smith Jr.
Leonard Smith Jr., my co-host.
Wow.
Leonard Smith Jr.
Round 9. This is the last time you get to fuck up my name this season.
Oh, did I get it wrong?
Yes, it's Leonard Smith Jr.
Oh, shoot. I thought that's what I said.
Yes.
I'm sorry about that. That's embarrassing for me.
Yeah, that's my last time getting punished. As you will most definitely be getting punished next season. This is the last episode of the season, and it doesn't matter. I beat this boy's ass all season long.
Yeah, it beat me like a drum.
It's been amazing. And Lady Smith, did you get that from what? The Black Knight? We were just talking about Martin Lawrence?
Lady Smith Black Mambazo is a group.
Is it a group?
Yeah, it's a musical group.
Okay. Well, anyways.
Don't ask me to name a song, but I have.
Wow. Quinn just pulling out references. It's great. Today, we're talking about Martin Lawrence cop movies. Martin Lawrence.
Yeah, we're getting right into it. I think it's more obscure if you make it longer. Movies in which Martin Lawrence plays a cop.
Movies in which Martin Lawrence plays a cop. And what deranged person could come up with this prompt for? Nah, he's not just a deranged person. He's in a funny, amazing. He's an improviser. He's a director. He's a writer. This motherfucker got his own sketch show out. Yo, go check that shit out. Give it up for a member of Lemon Pepper Wet. Yeah, that's right. We added him because he's young and he funny. Give it up for Courtney Theophin.
Leonard, you also messed up my name. It's Leonard Smith Jr. Nah, it was me, Courtney, man. I'm here. I'm so happy to be here, man.
Yeah.
We keep finally, I think this is the third episode, and welcome, Courtney. Thank you for doing the show. I think this is the third episode where we've been like, we finally got them all the members of Lemon Pepper Wet, but then you just add some. I think if you needed the win, I would feel like this was suspicious, but you do not.
I do not need the win.
This is kind of a freebie episode. But.
We just had to get the boy on, and he gave us a wild ass prompt.
Oh yeah, it was something that's been on my mind for a while because I noticed it. I'm like, this Martin Lawrence has been a cop in a lot of movies. I'm like wondering what is his thought process when it's like, picking movies. He's like, nah, give me the cop, give me the cop, give me the cop. I'm like,
I think it's just maybe it was just Hollywood at the time, and cop is just such a go-to storyline. It's like, all right, we're gonna make a cop movie, a cop show. We're gonna make a doctor movie, a doctor show. We're gonna make and Martin Lawrence is just like, yes to anything.
Martin Lawrence should play a doctor. I mean, I don't
think Martin Lawrence has ever played a doctor.
Yeah,
see, that's racist.
I mean, Eddie Murphy played a doctor.
And
a cop.
Dr. Doolittle.
And a vampire.
So I'm just saying, like,
and a donkey.
And a donkey. So I like, Eddie Murphy played a bear. Martin Lawrence played a bear.
Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence are on a little bit different levels, though. Just a little bit.
I would say.
A little bit.
I do wonder, do you think, if Eddie Murphy is the modern, modern is maybe a stretch now because Eddie Murphy got started in the 80s, but if he's like the modern template for like black
he is the modern template.
Movie stars, right?
Yeah.
Then it's all goes back to Beverly Hills Cop. Like, let's make like a funny movie where also I get to shoot guns and dive behind exploding shit.
Yes. And there's like a funny angle of like a black person in a white institution.
A stuffy white, like the LAPD.
Yeah, stuffy white institution, and he gets to be his black braggadocious self.
Yeah. Right.
And
there's a
comedy in
contrast
suits
there. Yeah.
Apparently people really love that comedy in the 90s. It's kind of crazy. I don't know if you see this as much. I always loved a black cop movie where both the people are black. Like All About the Benjamins type of situation. Like the buddy, there's the buddy cop movie where they're not necessarily cops all the time.
Mm.
And now you brought another point to me. Ice Cube.
Yeah, exactly.
Ice Cube plays a cop
in a lot of movies. He does a lot of buddy ride along.
Yeah.
He does play a cop in 21 Jump Street. But he has a lot of buddy cop, like him and Mike Epps, and then him and Kevin Hart. And
it's funny actually because technically, unless you count like the last 2 minutes of my movie, Martin Lawrence does not play a cop in either of these movies. He plays a guy playing a cop.
Yes.
Like pretending to be a cop.
Yes.
But in both movies, even the like
and one he does become a cop, though.
He does become one, but that's like the last part of the movie. But like it stretches credulity even within the universe of the movie to make Martin Lawrence a cop. They're just like, no. He could be a guy who pretends to be a cop, but he can't be a cop. No, that's not
Because
gonna work.
we all
out.
know the LAPD wouldn't let Detective Miles.
It's the LAPD both times too.
Yeah.
Our movies are very similar.
They're very similar. They're 4 years apart. Let's go ahead and name our movies. My movie is Lee Les Mayfield directed. I don't know who that is.
Good to mention it though.
1999 movie Blue Streak. It's Luke Wilson and Martin Lawrence. Shout out my boy Luke Wilson, who went on 6 years later to be one of the greatest films of all time, Idiocracy. Just had to drop that little tidbit in there because he's the Idiocracy, one of the greatest movies of all time.
Wow.
Mike Judge. I don't know, man. It feels like he was pretty right.
I know you think that.
The only thing he was kind of wrong about is a little late. Should have did it maybe 500 years earlier.
Yeah, he thought it was going to have him way in the future.
Anyways, it's a movie where Martin Lawrence plays a jewel thief. He plays a bank robber, a jewel thief, and it starts with a heist. He is on a crew of 4 with 2 white men. White men can't be trusted, as one of them tries to turn all of them. The 4th one is the driver, Dave Chappelle. Come on, man. How can you not like Dave Chappelle? Who smokes a lot of cigarettes? You know, somebody gets killed. The police come. Martin Lawrence gets caught. White perpetrator gets away.
Yeah.
And he hides this big ass diamond in this duct of a building that's being built. He goes to jail for 2 years, comes out for jail, goes back to where the building was being built. Guess what it is?
LAPD headquarters.
PD Police Department. Maybe even headquarters. It was pretty big. It's probably the headquarters. And he has to find a way to get this motherfucking diamond back. And so he decides he's going to impersonate a cop. Swipes the ID from young Rook, new detective Luke Wilson, and eventually pretty much starts running the burglary robbery division, which is pretty fitting as he is a robber.
He knows
so
like
he knows
a Greek
all this
diner
knowledge.
guy who gives him like an ID and a case file so buttoned up that they're like, you new guy, you're running the department.
Yeah,
overnight.
And the LAPD is so misrun.
Yeah, it's
that
not.
No one pays attention or even notices that he's just some random dude off the street who delivered
who they
3
just jailed
pizzas earlier
2 years ago.
Who they just jailed.
And Martin put a lot of attention on himself in that movie of being the head guy in charge of like bringing in busts and whatnot. I'm like, this is not. It's supposed to be a low key operation.
Yeah, there is a thing where it's like if he impersonated, say, a janitor, he would have like the same access but without the like attention. Like theoretically, a janitor's cleaning your vents, but like a cop crawling around in there.
Right.
Wow, what is it with you in the vents?
Because the diamond was in the vents. So if he would have been a janitor, he would have been like, all right, it's not weird to see a janitor in the bathroom.
Nope, not at all.
But that wouldn't be a movie.
That wouldn't be a movie.
That wouldn't be the movie, though.
And what is your cop movie, Quinn?
All right, so about 4 years later, off the success of Blue Streak and a number of other projects in between that I do not know. I don't know if his IMDb pulled up, but Martin Lawrence decides, hey, I really liked Blue Streak. That was a good movie for me. Let me make it again. Let's try this twice.
Let's make it 4 minutes shorter.
What's Owen Wilson doing? He's in Old School? Dang. All right. Well, give me Steve Zahn. And he makes a movie where Martin Lawrence plays a failed LAPD Academy cadet who winds up working national security or winds up working security and becomes the victim of a hate crime / misunderstanding. Both of these films play like the Rodney King race riot, like LAPD beating up black people stuff for a hilarious comedy. Like that's the of both of these is like, I guess a little bit less on that in Blue Streak.
Yeah, a little bit less.
But there is a total like Rodney King-esque misunderstanding.
And that's the whole plot of
it's the inciting incident where Steve Zahn, who plays a cop, great mustache, got the like hammerhead haircut that a lot of cops have. He's actually giving great cop in this movie. I feel like Steve Zahn either plays like an authoritarian or like a stoner guy. There's no in the middle of Steve Zahn.
I think you forgot about the first part of the movie though.
His partner gets killed.
Yeah, they instantly show you his partner getting killed, so you are sympathetic towards him.
Yes, and you can see he's like kind of a young, like he's a fresh cop, but he's got ambition. You know, he's good, but he's not perfect. So he's in a bad mood because his partner got killed. This movie hasn't gotten funny yet. But
The movie hasn't gotten.
Yo, it is a
and
wild.
it would remain that, but no. So he comes across Martin Lawrence, who is trying to get his keys from his car, which he has left in the ignition. So he's locked out of his own car. He's got his arm through the crack in the window of the front, the driver's seat. And Steve Zahn's like, hey, what are we doing? And Martin Lawrence immediately, fairly, is just like, oh, because I'm black, you think I'm breaking into this car. You don't think this could possibly be my car. And so they're having a misunderstanding. He's getting rough with them, but then a bumblebee, which does not sting, although I guess if he's just allergic to bumblebees in general, a bumblebee swats around, and then Steve Zahn has the harebrained scheme that he's going to try to kill the bumblebee with like a length of baton this wide. So he's swinging at it wildly. And some couple at like, where were they?
It was a Hispanic. It was a Hispanic,
like at
Hispanic older man. It was at Echo Park.
Echo Park. They take video of what appears to be Steve Zahn viciously beating Martin Lawrence with his nightstick, and that's a big problem for the LAPD because they do that for real. So they're like, "All right, Steve Zahn, you're going to jail." Also, would never happen. We'll talk about that. And does this hold up?
The photo of Martin Lawrence because he got stung by the bee.
He got stung by the bee, so his eyes are all puffy and
his face is fucked up.
Yeah, so Steve Zahn goes to jail for 2 years. No, not for 2 years, for 6 months. Martin Lawrence
state penitentiary for 6 months, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he
puts himself in solitary confinement.
He's going to be split open by the other inmates in the prison, so he just spends the whole time in solitary. He gets out. Now he's working security detail. The two of them stumble upon some, I don't know, lightweight aluminum keg smuggling situation. Eric Roberts has a bleach blonde dye job and he's playing like the villain. He's like unnecessarily racist, which is actually a thing I appreciate about these movies. When you just throw someone in to just be racist and you're like, fuck that guy. Like, in case you didn't need to like Eric Roberts, he already killed Steve Zahn's partner in the beginning of the movie, but now he's
now he just calls Martin Lawrence monkey every time he sees him.
So it's like, so now they both have something against Eric Roberts. You know, theoretically, hilarity ensues. They kind of become two non-cops, kind of act, they're on the case, they kind of act like cops. Martin Lawrence learns to, Steve Zahn learns to warm to Martin Lawrence, even though he destroyed his career, and Martin Lawrence. His life.
You forgot about Steve's wife.
Oh, yeah.
Baddie.
Yeah.
That's such a crazy scene, too.
A black woman.
I don't believe it.
That was his ex. That was his ex-girl.
Yeah, his ex-girl. I don't know if she was his wife or his girlfriend.
No, it was his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, she kicked him out. We come to find about the midway point of the movie that she is black. So good for Steve Zahn. But she kicked him out. Bad for Steve Zahn.
Yep.
But then a bumblebee, that like Deus Ex bumblebee, just comes at the exact right time to prove that he was in fact not racist when he was getting into the altercation. We're getting into it. Basically, it becomes just like standard cop movie. There's a shootout at the end. The two opposite factions learn to get to come together. The best part of the movie is the last scene where they are now fully ratified cops of the LAPD. They come across a Hispanic guy trying to get his keys through the door in much the same way, and Martin Lawrence is like, nah, this is a teachable moment. Gives him he lets him in, asks him for the license plate. The guy can recall it, so he lets him into the car, lets him drive away, and then a white lady's like, that's my car. And then Martin Lawrence unloads on the car in broad daylight, and then he just like fires rounds into this car, which causes the guy to veer into it. But then the car blows the fuck up like it was loaded up with gasoline. So I guess the moral is, don't trust anybody. Anyway,
I love how cars
national
exploded.
security.
I love how cars explode in those old movies. It's just
That
had
was
no reason, just boom. Just it's like those cartoons where where character hits into something and it
they did some testing and realized that people like when cars blow up, and they're like, we got to put that in every movie. We got to have 2.5 cars blowing up in every movie.
There's so many similar, like there's a scene in both of these movies. There's like a ton more, but there's a scene in both of these movies where Martin Lawrence is hanging on to the back of a truck with the doors open, going down the highway, and is like, you know, flailing like on inside and outside the truck based on how the door is swinging. And I will say, like, the things that I thought were appreciate about this movie, like there is like cool practical stunts and effect, like explosions and like cool, like, oh, they really got a guy hanging off that door over that bridge, like that. It's not Martin Lawrence, but it's a cool. It's cool I miss practical stunts.
Yeah, I also miss seeing like the sometimes blatantly obvious stunt guy, but both times the stunt guys weren't blatantly obvious stunt guys, but it was like you could just tell, like when Steve Zahn
they hit it well.
jumps through that, he shoots the glass and jumps through it and lands on the U-Haul truck. It's like, oh, that dude looks kind of like Steve Zahn.
Yeah.
And he really jumped through that. Courtney, when we gave you these movies, did you have something in mind when you gave us the prompt?
You wanted Big Mama's House, didn't you?
I was about to say this is Big Mama's House erasure here. You know, I'm anti Cat Williams. Put the black man in the dress. No, this is exactly what I was thinking, because I didn't want to put Bad Boys.
Yeah, technically there's a caveat to this prompt, which is movies where Martin Lawrence plays a cop, asterisk, find it down here, except Bad Boys.
Which takes away 4 movies.
Which takes away 4 movies.
The fourth one, well, I mean, I guess we could have, but neither one of us.
We can talk about Bad Boys, but we can't pick it because I agree it's too obvious. You don't want to be like Bad Boys versus Bad Boys 2. Actually, I guess that might be fun, but
they're very different movies. The first Bad Boys movie. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. They plays great, but like, I take it you've seen both of these movies that we.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've seen National Security more.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't really. I mean, I've seen Blue Streak, but like, National Security was on heavy rotation on the VHS.
But wait, before we get into these two, I just wanted. There's Bad Boys 1 through 4.
Mm-hmm.
There's Big Mama's House 1 through 3.
1 through 3.
So we're at 7. We're at 7 cops.
7 cop movies.
Blue Streak.
Our 2 picks, which puts us at 9.
And 9. Then there's also
College Road Trip with Raven Simone, the Disney movie where he played a cop.
He plays a cop.
He plays a cop, and
he's off duty.
But he had to. Yeah, he's off duty cop. But he had to drive his daughter to school using coppiness.
He's not a cop in Wild Hogs, is he? He's just a biker. He's probably a dentist or something. I feel like. That's 10 that we could just think of off the dome.
I know. I feel like I'm forgetting one.
And then that one, that straight to VHS one.
That's right. You sent us.
Oh, what was that one
Mind
called?
Cage.
Mind Cage. Yes, the detective.
Classic straight to VOD.
Oh my god.
Mind Cage.
What's funny? Okay, I got to talk about 2 movies. I mean, Martin Lawrence has a great discography. It's funny because he started out his career as like the goofy, annoying kid, kind of like in Do the Right Thing and House Party. He's been in a couple of our movies throughout this season. He has this season. Been on this season.
This is the Martin Lawrence season.
This is the Martin Lawrence season, and but I gotta talk about 2 movies. I mean, Martin Lawrence, as far as like buddy cop movies, we talked about Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. I don't know how I haven't picked this movie. Maybe I have picked it. Oh, I did pick it. Life.
Yeah.
Life, one of the greatest comedies of all time. Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy. Holy shit. But it's funny because I did shit on Martin a little bit, saying like he couldn't be at Eddie Murphy level, but like the first Bad Boys is not funny at all. Like there is it's hint
more
of
action
comedy.
than action.
I mean, he is the comic relief in the movie.
Yeah.
But that movie is kind of
That movie is way more serious. They kind of got back to the series because like 2 is like just dumb. It's just like an action, just like a dumb action movie. And like 3 and 4, they kind of get back. They slowly get back to like the seriousness aspect and like playing to. Because like number 4, I cried during number 4, bro. I was a little teary eyed when Will went down in the heart at the wedding. You don't remember? Y'all
4. Yeah, 4. Yeah, that's funny. I like how 3 and 4 both of them died.
Martin dies in 4.
Martin dies in 4. Will dies in 3.
Yeah, that's what it is. But it's just interesting how the cop movies are kind of like a lot different. These 2 are so similar, but
I think he thought he kind of found the formula, like, which is good for him. Like Blue Streak worked. I think Blue Streak.
I don't know if it was he found the formula. I just think Hollywood was like, what black person can we recycle this movie with? Because it literally is
He's
like
taking the scripts that like Eddie Murphy probably turned down Blue Streak. You know what I mean? Like there is a
Ice
feeling,
Cube turned down.
There is a feeling that
I feel like Martin might have been the number 1 choice for this one.
Maybe
I could be wrong.
There's that. I forget which actor said it, where it's like every script for a certain point would like go through Leonardo DiCaprio for like a white male lead.
Yeah.
It would go through Leonardo DiCaprio, he'd pass, and then it's like, okay, who can like make something of that, And it feels like Eddie Murphy would have in the late 90s still been that guy who's like right of first refusal, and then they're like, okay, well, we can't get Eddie. Martin? Martin was number 2 for a while. I don't know what the pecking order necessarily would have been.
I can see that.
Denzel's a different type. They're not giving that to Denzel. You know what I mean? Like, so there are only, especially in the 90s, so many black leading men that they're giving this to. Like, with a comedic element.
That's interesting because I'm like, Honestly, I can't see Eddie doing Blue Streak.
I don't
or
see Eddie
National
doing. I don't see
Security,
Eddie
or
doing Blue Streak at all.
and I think he can't do Bad Boys either. I feel like
he was too old at the time.
Bad Boys is like a younger man's guy. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I'm like, just plugging and playing Martin and Eddie. I'm like, oh boy.
Can you see? I'm trying to think. Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac in Blue Streak would be hilarious. Bernie Mac is a jewel thief.
Nah. But I gotta say, there is nothing like being like dressed down in like a movie where Bernie Mac dresses you down like verbally. Like I feel like that.
God, that would have been amazing.
He would eat those scenes up. It would make no sense.
Yeah.
But it'd be like
Speaking of making no sense, let's talk about these movies.
grappling from one building to another.
My
just
God.
Bernie Mac.
America, help!
Yo, these movies were wild. National Security, just the beginning of that movie, just like going from like it's like cop gets murdered.
It starts pretty
to fucking Martin just berating his fucking his police academy teacher,
just going way too hard on that. I mean, like that guy had it coming in the movie for sure. I'm just saying, if you're gonna pass, you can't beat the shit out of your instructor. But I guess theoretically in the movie, he didn't care at that point.
Yeah,
he heard him call him boy, and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this cop."
They were trying to show us that he is just an asshole who doesn't believe anything that comes out of his mouth and just uses. And also, it was almost kind of like offensive in a little bit, the way you're like, because it was like, oh, he's just using race as a card. I mean, I guess there are those people who are like that, but it was just like, it was ridiculous because he was a really shitty person in this movie.
Yeah, my problem with, and I get like you're sympathetic to Steve Zahn because he's like got a bad case of misunderstanding right after his partner gets killed. But my problem with National Security is I don't find either of those guys likable for most of the movie.
Yes.
Like they are.
Yeah, neither one of them are likable.
They are, because Steve Zahn's just like barely concealed rage for so much. It's like, get away from me. Like every time they're like, they have a moment together. And I don't want him to like hug Martin or whatever. Like I understand why he's angry at him. But it's just a hard character to like. They're both prickly. They're both like both kind of like keep you a little.
And they loved how they were like, he has to go to solitary confinement because there's no way if he was really in that prison he would ever.
That's a great shot though. They open the door, he walks out and he sees like the 4 black guys at the end of the hall, and he's just like,
punches the cop.
Nah.
How long have I been in there? 3 months, dude. You got a day's worth of stubble on your face. That's the.
Wait, so you said you had National?
Yeah, this was in heavy rotation.
On
yeah, but like honestly, those 2 movies, I thought they were the same. They blended together in my mind until I got older and I watched them separately, and I was like, oh, this is from this movie and this is from that movie. Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, National Security was played more like the woo.
Oh yeah.
It plays in.
It's wild how like just specific moments can make you think a movie is very funny.
I have two, or rather, I have like one about National Security because I didn't see Blue Streak until you picked it for this podcast. I had not seen it, but I did see National Security in theaters as a 12-year-old twice. The first time I cannot reliably recall. Well, you know, like when you're 12, we've talked about this before, but when you're 12, they just, hey, you guys made a movie? Congrats. I love it. Like I'm not a discerning film goer as a 12-year-old. You know what I mean?
I was just like, there's cussing.
This movie, it's PG-13. I'm 12. I'm getting in early. You know, like I like it's. But even as a 12-year-old, I was like, I don't know if this is for me. I like saw it with my brother. I was at the Cranford Theater. We got to go one town over to see this movie
with your little brother.
With my little brother. I'm pretty sure we saw it together, and I was like, okay, yeah, you know, that wasn't like. It was like when I was starting to realize like not every movie was for me, like my shit. And then that thing happened where I got invited to like a birthday party.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, I'd love to go to your birthday party this week. What are we doing? Well, we're going to see National Security.
That is so wild.
I guess I'm seeing this movie again. And I did not enjoy it more the second time. Cut to 21 years later. I watched this movie for this podcast because I picked it. And I was like, well, let me watch it again. I remembered the plot, the basic plot. Like I told you the beats. But I don't remember anything, you know, specifics, except for one thing. And it was like, he's really trying in this movie with what the problem is. What the problem is, he says like 3 or 4 times. Half the time it's like unprompted, and I just can feel Martin Lawrence trying to like beat that that catchphrase into the he's like, this is gonna pop off. Everyone's gonna be saying what the problem is whenever. And that was the thing I remember from this movie is if something happened, Martin Lawrence is gonna look at someone and be like, what the problem is. Just like that.
This movie was ridiculous.
And then I guess the thing about Blue Streak, the thing that stood out to me was just Dave Chappelle.
Yes.
When he was in the interrogative scene, like, and he's gay.
Dave Chappelle's going like I thought Dave Chappelle had like the funnier comedic relief. I like the Dave Chappelle scene.
100%. Dave Chappelle is why I picked Blue Streak. The scene in the alleyway.
Yeah.
Where he tries to rob the corner store.
Yeah.
And then the scene where he's like, he the baddest motherfucker. I saw him rip a man's lips off. I ripped a man's lips off and kissed my ass. I ripped his tongue out and wiped my balls. He's like, show him that move where you ripped his intestines out from his back. Like that.
That's him dropping them.
I did that so many times as a kid.
Dave Chappelle,
I love that scene in the movie, and the rest of the movie, maybe not so much.
But then again, the Pizza Man costume,
yes, and the Pizza Man costume
is an iconic costume.
Iconic
costume. I see black people wear for hopefully black people wear for Halloween.
What are you talking about? I went last year.
Hey, as long as you didn't go blackface, you can do it without the blackface.
No, that was Dave Chappelle is like one of the few. We all perform comedy, not just right, but like not a ton. A lot of people think that if you go loud, you are increasing the funny in equal proportion. Not so. So many people like make that mistake where they're like, "Uh-oh, I'm not getting laughs with like the idea. What if I just shout at you?" Chappelle actually, because he doesn't act that much anymore.
Yeah.
And he's not, I wouldn't say a good actor, but he is naturally funny. And I feel like he actually is funny when he just raises the volume of the, like I was cracking up where I was like waiting for her to be a love. I mean, not that that's all that she exists to be. I was waiting for her to be a love interest for Martin Lawrence. Did not happen. All he does is beat up suspects in front of her. So not endearing himself to her. But when she's like walking him away and he said, I can't read good. Like he's just like listing all the things that like Martin Lawrence was doing to him in addition to being
I honestly think Dave Chappelle is a good actor. Personally. Okay. I think he's a good comedic actor for sure. Because he just the way
you know what? He was good in
he was really good. I think he's good in Blue Streak, and he was good in You Got Mail.
I was gonna say it wasn't bad in You Got Mail, but I was also gonna say he's actually pretty good in that Bradley Cooper Star Is Born,
and that's what I was about to get to.
Yeah, I take it back.
He was really good in Bradley Cooper.
That's
Star
a whole different Dave Chappelle.
But that's still acting.
That's brolic cigarette smoking,
and they cast him well, and he acted well.
When he got swole, it was a little weird for me.
It threw me off when he got swole. I was like,
celebrities do all types of drugs.
I was like, what happened to Dad?
Including HGH. That motherfucker on that.
Well, he got swole, and then the cigarette voice dropped him down. Like he's almost at the point where he does his white man. It's not with the inflection that made it the white man voice, but when he would do sometimes the newscaster voice, like that's almost his register now.
Yeah, but I feel like these movies are kind of the same. They like have the same runtime. One is 4 minutes shorter, but I think that Blue Streak is more endearing because Luke Wilson isn't a fucking asshole, angry prick. He's naive, but he has his wits about him. He's like gullible and a little naive, but he's still like with it. He's still questioning. He is like the straight man. He is the voice of reason in the movie where he's like, what are you doing? Why is this happening? It changes a little bit. It switches to people because he tells a lot of this person and he tells a lot of that person. And it's funny to see like the lot. And then like people start coming up with their own narratives. Yeah. Where he's like, no, he's for sure the FBI and blah, blah, blah. He's like, I'm internal affairs. He's just Federale. Yo, that shit was hilarious. It's just like, all right, I figured you out.
Both of these movies, like Bad Boys, I would say like is successful. Obviously, it's a successful franchise, but like in equal part, Martin and Will Smith. like that's a true. Both these guys lead this movie,
Yeah.
and it's funny because I saw when I was like looking up the, for national security, there are 2 posters, and it's the same Martin pose on both posters. One of them, Steve Zahn's behind him. One of them, Steve Zahn isn't behind him. And I feel like that's interesting because that movie is much more a two-hander, like white cop, black cop kind of thing. Like it's a classic kind of trope or whatever. And the same thing exists in Blue Streak. But I feel like in both movies, it's not necessarily even a bad thing. It's just a commentary. Like Bad Boys, equal parts, Will and Martin. These movies are Martin Lawrence vehicles, and he has like a sidekick.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more shared in national security. Steve Zahn's got a lot to do, but it's just funny. Like his personality is so big, and he's doing like his antics are so like front and center that it takes over, I think, more of the movie. Definitely in Blue Streak, where I feel like Luke Wilson's kind of nerfed. I don't like Luke Wilson just exists to be like,
I don't think,
huh?
Yeah, I don't
and
think
then get something explained and be like, all right.
Yeah, I don't think Blue Streak is a buddy cop movie. Blue Streak is just a Martin Lawrence movie.
It feels like at times it will be though, because they're like, you're going with the rookie, take him out on the thing, but it's like,
they're like, we got to have that aspect to it.
Yeah.
But they're basically just the voice of reasons for Martin's antics, and I think Blue Streak, I still had some affinity for Blue Streak because Martin is just funny in the movie.
Yeah,
it's just like him fucking riding a little race car around, and then he gets caught in front of the meeting.
He didn't have headphones in. He like walked into the thing with his glasses. He didn't have headphones.
You
in
know,
like
he was so locked in on this goddamn diamond, man. I just love how him being so focused on the diamond. And like, I guess his burglar knowledge, just like he backs into the perfect situation to solve all of these crimes every single time.
Then again, I feel like Blue Streak, and if I add another Martin Lawrence thief con man movie, the movie he did with Danny DeVito.
What's that?
This is where IMDb is gonna.
I had his movies pulled up.
Danny DeVito.
With Danny DeVito. Like he stole an egg from Danny DeVito or something like that.
What?
Danny DeVito's laying eggs in this movie?
No, it's like some type of golden egg, some special. Danny DeVito, some rich man, and then Martin's the con man that steals his stuff, and then they go back and forth.
Okay.
And so like this is like maybe
looking at his filmography, I just forgot about a movie I had to talk about with Martin Lawrence, which is a buddy cop movie. And it's another like white.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh, I remember that. I never saw it, but I
Me
remember
neither.
that.
But
you never seen? Oh man,
2001 came in between Blue Streak. And
Nothing to Lose.
Okay.
It is Martin Lawrence and Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins. This movie is so fucking funny.
He kind of looks like, is he playing a cop in that movie or is he a criminal?
No, in this one he's a criminal. He goes to rob Tim Robbins, who was like a security, like a data security type guy.
Uh-huh.
And Martin like just lost his job or something. He got fired, and
so he's got nothing to lose.
He's got nothing to lose.
Classic.
And he goes to rob him. Oh no. They both exactly. But Tim Robbins just walked in on his wife cheating on him. So he's like gets in the car and is like having a mental break, and then Martin goes to rob him while that's happening, and then he's like, shoot me, like just starts driving the car crazy, and they get caught up in this thing. They both basically have nothing to lose. They have to like work together. He like thinks that his wife was cheating on him with his boss, so he's like, let's fuck over my boss. And Martin does like data things, so he's like, you can hack into his thing, and like they work together to like rob his boss or some shit like that. It is one of the funniest fucking movies in my mind when I saw it. So I had to rewatch it because I used to think Blue Streak was very funny. I don't think I ever thought National Security was very funny.
Yeah, which is funny because I think Courtney likes, or maybe not anymore. You watched it again, or maybe you didn't watch it again for this, but like, I don't know if it still holds that place, if it still would be in heavy rotation, but I feel like Courtney might be the one who likes National Security the most in this room.
Oh, well, I've seen Blue Streak more recently than National Security. I haven't seen National Security in it's going on decades.
Okay. So you're like me before
seen it enough.
I've seen it enough where I'm like, all right.
This might hurt my argument then. I wish you would have rewatched it.
No.
Keep it in the glowing amber of your memories.
But yeah, Blue Streak. like I'm trying to remember like the funniest parts. Like the one made me laugh the hardest. And like with national security, the damn it was a bumblebee, it was a bee. That part.
The courtroom scene is kind of funny, even though it's so fucked up.
Yeah.
Boy. And just the wee. And then he had that gun that fired so many shots out of the switch on. I was like, how does one get that?
That's
illegally.
Like, yeah, that's like street modifications.
I
On
was
that.
like, that's not
Another the very funny part is, all right, I just want one chip. Let me get a chip, man.
That felt like an
was
improv
so-
in the city. They're like, this is
Yeah.
gonna give this character a bat. Earl Jr. is what he calls his gun. They're like, just give him.
It just takes another bite of the chip.
Yeah.
You wrote a note about the gun was Earl Jr. I saw you look down. I was like, all right, you pull it in the notes.
And then
Yeah, they don't give him the ammunition back, and he goes, "You can keep my bullets." And then it's like, well, you might as well keep the gun. He's like, "No, give me the gun."
Another funny part when the black dude, chief dude, comes out. He's like, "Oh, it was the black man." God damn. And then he's like,
yeah.
And then he has the gun, and he's like, "Oh no, he got a gun on him." He's like, "Oh man, I'm sorry, brother." Like, of course they would be. It was silly. Of course, it's always the police. It's the inside man.
I know my favorite part of national security. It's when Steve Zahn tries to pull over the black woman from her car, and he's like, get out of the goddamn car. And then she goes, who told you? And just the way she slaps him like 3 or 4 times, hard cut, they're both in the back seat, just being driven by her.
Yeah.
It's like very.
She's like, I'll give you a ride. Just
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
tell me to get
Bye,
out.
boys. Thank you. Yeah.
That actually was very funny. You know what? Let's get into these 5 talking
Yeah, we
points.
might as well round the bend into. This has been a Martin Lawrence palooza. We've been talking about his whole discography here, filmography, whatever. But so trying to contain it to just these 2 movies. Let's talk about pop culture.
The pop cultural influence.
I feel like this was like the heyday of, or maybe more. I don't know. I mean, you could probably speak to it with more intelligence than I can, but like. Obviously, he has Martin in the early 90s, the show.
Yes.
Then, like, Bad Boys kind of makes him a movie star.
Yes.
He'd been in other movies, but now it's like he's, like, above the title, you know?
Yeah.
So this feels like he's living in that, like, the peak of Martin Lawrence. Because it felt like even by the late 2000s, he was still a name people knew, but he wasn't, like, a box office draw.
I would say...
So late 90s, early 2000s is, like, his heyday as Martin the movie star.
He's starting to pop kind of hard in 92.
Uh-huh.
Like, he is really popping, I would say about 95 because of Martin and Bad Boys. But as far as, like, movie stardom, it's, like, 98 to, like, 2000.
Yeah, because he's leading
He's
these
in
movies. There's
so
no Will Smith in these movies.
many goddamn movies in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like, 2002 might be it because he's in Bad Boys 2. He's just in, like, so many movies.
Big Mama's House.
He's in Big Mama's House, Bad Boys 2, Black Knight, like that movie with Danny DeVito. He, like, from like 98, 99 to like 2003, this motherfucker was in like 17 movies. Like, it's crazy.
I respect, like, when, like, that strike while the iron is hot mentality.
Get the bag,
what do
baby.
you got? I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll be a cop 17 times. I mean, let's go.
Dead ass.
This cop wears a dress, fine. This cop is a security guard,
and I'm
fine.
just basically being myself. Like, let's go.
Yeah, it's a lot of, like, just put him in a scenario where he gets to. I also, like, I will say, well, okay, we're talking pop culture, but I like that moment in national security where they're gonna maybe, even though it's like crazy, they clearly like fired 1,000 rounds of ammunition in that warehouse with the soda exploding, all of it. The idea that, like, their theory is that Steve Zahn went to get retribution, like, with what, an army against Martin Lawrence? But anyway, where he's like, he's here to apologize, and Steve Zahn's like, yeah, because he doesn't want to go back to jail. I would say national security has almost no pop cultural imprint today. I can't. Unless you, Courtney, if there's anything we're not thinking of, I'm trying to.
Nah.
Yeah.
Like I said, like with Blue Streak, with the costume, with the Halloween costume, and, you know, Dave Chappelle's antics. Because there's nothing that nobody talks about national security today.
Nah.
And Steve Zahn kind of fell off hard.
I was about to say, I think if you told Steve Zahn he was in this movie, it would take him a minute to be like, was I? Oh yeah, that was the one where I had the mustache. I did read a little of the trivia. He cut his hairline up a little bit and he grew that mustache. and he like watched a lot of and I did appreciate like there's times where he's standing, he's got his arms like folded right here, like in standing posture. I was like, he did probably more work than he needed to affect believable cop in this. You know,
man, he's a professional.
Even when they're drawing their firearms in the beginning of the warehouse, he's got the flashlight over the gun. I was like, that feels like a cop. Like this feels like
he felt very.
Did this dude go to the academy to be in national security? A movie where he is, for the most part, not a cop anymore.
So silly.
Yeah.
I think Blue Streak, pop culture wise,
it probably wins, but I don't think it wins in a landslide. I don't know.
Just because of the pizza scene.
Yeah.
The pizza, it's pretty iconic. I got to eat pizza, which is so crazy because it's like, but that's obviously a fake.
Those teeth, and he's like really leaning in with the teeth, and I can almost see the top of it come out over his lip.
Man, what are we doing here? And that's pretty much it. I mean, the scene with Dave Chappelle is kind of iconic, but I don't think it has any pop culture reference.
All right, well, this will be a more, do these movies hold up?
Woo.
Both of these movies are about, I wouldn't say they're like endorsements of, but like they are not condemnation, like they're not condemning the LAPD, and I feel like,
well, they kind of are.
I mean, I guess national security speaks to like the reputation that LAPD had.
They're dirty. They're
dirty, like trying to like coming harder at the black man than like other, you know, like Martin Lawrence's character is all about that. At the same time, I think I agree with that. Like Martin Lawrence, or were you saying like Martin Lawrence's character is played for kind of like a buffoon? You know what I mean? Like these are things that people say now, and you take it seriously, but it's like at the time, it's like, oh, look at him rambling again about like every little thing is racist or whatever. It's like with the LAPD, it might be though. Like I don't know.
Yes.
It's they're kind of, they both are like light propaganda movies a little bit.
Light.
That might be overthinking Martin Lawrence comedies. I'm not trying.
I mean, Blue Streak is kind of like also speaks to the incompetence of bureaucracy and like the LAPD, that he could just infiltrate and become. What's a P-31? What do you think about P-31?
Diaz. What did Blue Streak hold up for you when you rewatched it?
Definitely, yeah. It held up. Like I am not some cinephile. I am not.
We're two cineas, so you better come correct.
I'm like, all right, made me smile, made me laugh. I'm like, good movie. Like it didn't confuse me too much. I'm like, all right, it's simple. But yeah, it held up. Like honestly, I don't know if I'm ever gonna watch it again. Like I'm never gonna be like, hey, yo, put on that Blue Streak.
Yeah, for real. No, 100%.
Well, it's funny because I'd
gonna be my
heard
last rewatch of Blue Streak and with National Security.
I'd long heard people say like, oh, Blue Streak is like the best. You know, maybe I don't know who's saying this, but like, oh, that's one of the best Martin Lawrence movies. So I had higher expectations for it when I watched it for the first time. This weekend or this week. And nah.
But
then again, like I don't know, is Big Mama House better than Blue Streak?
I saw Big Mama's House in the movie theater once, and I never saw it again, and I never saw any of the other Big Mama's House. So I was like, I'm good on this.
Yeah,
I'm good on that.
Fat suits, man or woman, fat suit. Like I never saw Norbit. Like I don't know all that stuff.
I never saw Norbit either.
Norbit
I've never seen. Hilarious. I know people. Everybody loves Norbit. I've never seen it.
Norbit is boy, wow. I mean, that shit could never get made today, but goodness, it's just I don't get it. It just makes me laugh every time. Terry Crews with the turkey ass, because you never seen, nobody's seen it.
No.
Oh my goodness! In the beginning, it's like Thanksgiving dinner, and everybody's getting a piece of the turkey, and then Norbit is a kid, and Terry Crews buff ass drops a turkey ass on his plate. Talk about turkey ass, eat up, sucker. It's just so funny. And then he plays almost all the characters again, and then. Oh man!
I mean, just a bunch of tropes or like stereotypes. And,
full of them. Yeah. Oh boy, god damn!
I kind of know of it, but I've never seen. I was like,
he plays an Asian man.
Oh right, he's not just playing Rasputia.
He's playing Rasputia. He plays
Norbit,
and then Marlon Wayans is in the movie.
Really?
Oh man, hilarious! He plays an aerobics teacher, power step. Where it's like he does like exercise like class, but tap dancing. Boy, funny ass scene. I would say check out Norbit just for the culture.
I hope you pick Norbit at the end of this episode. What's the best Martin Lawrence cop movie?
Norbit. Okay, well, doesn't hold up the fact that Steve Zahn got convicted. doesn't really hold
That
up.
feels unlikely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although
But you have
LAPD
to have
covering
it.
their ass by throwing a
Yeah,
like
also
Steve's
does
onto them,
feel
that
weird.
feels like close.
Yeah, it feels
And
close.
only because they're worried about a Rodney King type riot breaking out
Yeah.
does the LAPD act. That feels like they're at least acknowledging the.
And then
Also, this movie's like 10 years after Rodney King. But like, not to say that it wasn't still like on people's minds, but it did feel like it's not like you made this movie the next year or something where it was more fresh.
maybe that's why they could make it.
Yeah, no one ever says Rodney King, but I just feel like that's what they're talking about. Where they're like, we can't have this happen again, and it's like, oh yeah.
Blue Streak, the whole thing is just wild. I don't know if it holds up too well. The whole like, let's go bring the drugs to them right now and do this.
Oh
sting operation is kinda wild.
yeah.
Just how they tried to get out of it was weird. And insane.
Also, that like quick scene towards the end where they're catching the truck driver and Martin Lawrence is chasing him through the backyards and this. That is just the chase scene from Point Break, which is incredible. Where Keanu is chasing Patrick Swayze through the. They just did that again, like right down to like jumping in through like, you know, busting in through the screen or doing that. I was just sort of like, they just lifted that from Point Break, but you know, art imitates art.
That. Quick question though, there's something more important than anything we've been talking about. Was Jennifer Coolidge
in either of these films?
In either one of these movies?
Courtney, do you know who Jennifer Coolidge is?
It's that white woman, right?
Yeah. Bingo.
She said, "Hey,
yeah,
I'm Jennifer."
Yes.
Yeah.
Hell no, she wasn't in any of those movies.
That's too bad, because that's our third criteria point. Was Jennifer Coolidge in this film? Now, if she was in this film, you should give it special consideration as like weighing the scales of which one you're going to pick. But unfortunately, she's not in either of them.
Now, she literally could be in. She could have been in either one of these movies. Well, especially in National Security.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think
about
of as
time wise. Now, who would she be? It would.
The woman that Martin Lawrence handcuffs to the radiator and
would be.
Oh, she was bad.
It would have been a different type of role. But it's interesting that neither of these. Well, I guess Steve Zahn has the love interest, but like neither of these movies, Martin has a love interest. Yeah. They're tight. They're tight 90 minutes, both of them. Exactly. I give them credit for that. They're in and out. They're like, we're not trying to waste your time.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Jennifer Coolidge, I guess, as the lawyer. There's also no women in either one.
No, there's not a ton of women. Yeah,
maybe the first girlfriend.
Oh, who throws him out? Also, yeah, you know what does this hold up? He is terrible to. Oh gosh, I'm forgetting her name. Now I'm being rude. When he goes out in Blue Streak, he gets out of prison and he opens the door to, and he's the woman who plays Ma, and he's just like, damn,
Olivia Spencer.
Octavia Spencer. And
oh man, that was that movie.
He's like, you ate the whole fridge or something like that. Like he's just doing like lame fatty. It's also like, is he just in the logic of the movie? Is he just being mean, or does he actually think that after 2 years away he can't recognize?
They were just like, nah, let's get some fat jokes in here.
Yeah, let's just throw some on. And then she just has that like thing where she just stands and she's just like, it's just like, I'm just gonna take this with quiet dignity, and then my scene is over. But she's got an Oscar, and Martin Lawrence has watched the Oscars. But
all right, let's get into number 4. Stats.
That would be the Jennifer Coolidge character, and that would be rude because he'd say that to her. Might also be funny in National Security, although that woman is so perfect for it. But if you gave Jennifer Coolidge the role of smacking Steve Zahn,
that would have been hilarious. But it had to be a black woman.
It did kind of have to be a black woman.
Okay, so Blue Streak, 1999. It was a budget of $36 million, made $117.7 million, made 118 off of 36. That's 4 times.
That's a success. That's our hit.
Yeah,
that's our hit.
That's almost 4 times.
DVD sales. Probably.
IMDb.
It's not gonna be good.
Is a 6.4.
Okay.
But what's funny about the IMDb picture is it's national security. The picture for Blue Streak is the national security poster on the IMDb.
That's hilarious.
IMDb confirmed racist. They don't even know.
That's hilarious.
Oh. Shouts to
I can't believe it's a 6.4.
Leslie Jones is in national security. Did Do you catch that?
Did she play? She plays
So
some.
you didn't rewatch it, and I feel like she obviously became famous much later. But if you rewatched it,
I did.
She's the woman who lifts him up and holds Martin
That's
Lawrence
Leslie
against.
Jones?
That's Leslie Jones, and then he's like talking about how big she is, and then he's like,
What?
"Oh, maybe you wanna
I
get
didn't
that
realize
number
that
right."
was her.
Look, you can
Big
see
Red.
in the-
Oh, I see it right there.
Yeah. Like
Wow.
10 years before she made SNL.
Blue Streak is a 35% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oof.
Audience score, 64%.
See, critics don't know what they're talking about. The people know.
It's power to the people.
Power to the people.
National Security was made for, does not say, but it made $54.6 million.
Wow, the people did not like it.
Yeah, I would say that's probably.
Shout out to you in that party.
Yeah, me. It was the $54.6 million. I'm responsible for 0.6. I think my birthday party, not my birthday, but IMDb, it has a 5.6. That feels
right.
Correct. And where's the Rotten Tomatoes score on this? Ooh. At 11% Rotten Tomatoes score.
Oh, yeah.
I'm checking. That's critics, 45% audience. That is a.
Hey, check Norbit.
Do you want me to check Norbit?
Check Norbit, man.
Let's see it.
I want to know if like.
You know what's funny? And I bet National Security probably costs about
9% Norbit. Rotten Tomatoes top critics 9%.
Holy shit!
53% audience. They liked it more than National Security.
See, I told you it's a good movie. I'm part of the people I know. Cat Williams, Eddie Griffin.
I have a feeling National Security probably costs about at least $20 million because they blew up a bunch of shit. They shot it in LA, which is expensive to shoot in, and there was a lot of like.
I wrote National Security budget, and I'm getting like government contract figures. The SEO on this movie is tough.
It's tough.
Yeah, you know.
And so was the movie. Let's go into our final arguments. Mine's gonna be pretty quick.
Yeah.
Courtney, final arguments.
Final arguments.
Pretty quick.
Yeah. Go ahead. Do I make them?
National Security.
No,
we make
I don't know why.
I'm listening.
National
It's
Security.
very important that you listen to these final arguments, Courtney. We might sway you.
National Security sucks. It's not very funny. It is a tight 90-minute runtime. It should have been 60.
It should have been like not movie length.
Yeah,
I think I agree.
It should have been an episode of television. And Martin is not as funny in this movie.
He's trying so hard,
and
you can feel the effort.
His character is terrible. I don't like the character, and he's a piece of shit. And Blue Streak is funny, and his character is funny. And he's not a terrible person. He could have killed that guy at the end with the gun. He was like, shoot him. He didn't shoot him. He didn't kill the guy until the guy was about to shoot him.
Shoot him, but yeah.
You know, like Han Solo, he ain't shoot first. You know what I'm saying? And Blue Streak, Dave Chappelle, hilarious villain, good villain. Doesn't call him a monkey. The whole trying to infiltrate the LAPD was actually interesting, and it kept being like, what is gonna happen? And then he like finds a new way, and it was kind of plausible, kind of a little believable. It was almost too far-fetched, but it wasn't enough that I still enjoyed it. And that's why I think, and he pretty much is a cop this whole movie. There is the scene where he's chasing the dude, the classic cop chasing thing, beating up people. He does cop shit in this movie.
Oh yeah,
very cop like, pretending to be a cop,
with
solving crimes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say Blue Streak is the best Martin Lawrence cop movie.
The official title was plays a cop. I think he plays as a cop in both movies, even if he isn't. He actually is made a cop in my movie National Security. If we're weighing that at all. I don't think National Security is very good. I think it might be bad, actually. I will say that for the hype, the modest hype that I had heard about Blue Streak from people that had seen it and were like saying it was fine. I remember some friends having the DVD. I just never wound up seeing it as a kid. I was too busy seeing National Security twice. I did not think that movie was very good or very funny at all. Yes, there are moments in both movies where I'm like, yeah, that gets a chuckle. But I maybe I don't like my Martin Lawrence straight to the veins. I think I need him cut with like someone else, like a Will Smith or a little, you know, like
I'm telling y'all, watch Nothing to Lose.
Nothing to Lose. All right, I'll try another Martin Lawrence movie.
It's good. I promise.
But yeah. So here's where I'm really at on this. Courtney, I want you to choose what you want to pick, but I'm 1 in 7 this season. 2-7 is not gonna make. I'd almost rather go 1-8. So I'm willing to throw my support behind Leonard's pick, Blue Streak, and use my final argument to support his, just to see if that does anything for me. Because I've been arguing for my movies all season.
That's
It's not been
funny.
working. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I think they're both pretty.
Well, yeah. Honestly, maybe you should have chose Big Mama's House.
Yeah.
Maybe you would have had more of a chance.
He's never seen Big Mama's House.
No. I don't like movies where people are in dresses.
Oh man, like Terrence Howard scared me. Like
Is he the villain?
Oh yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Man.
Oh, I might have to watch it.
Is he trying to teach?
Oh yeah, Terrence Howard is like
He's trying to teach Martin
I don't
Lawrence new
remember.
math.
I watched it in theaters and I don't even remember.
the plot of Big Mama's House is of course, Martin is a cop, right? Nia Long's in the movie. And so Nia Long is not say suspect, but like a witness of something.
Oh yeah.
And so
it's
like
Mrs. Doubtfire. They need to get the cop
so
in.
like Nia Long escapes to Georgia to her aunt's house or some family's
and
house.
she doesn't
Big
know
Mama's,
who's been dead, but they play her.
no, Big Mama's house. Big Mama's real. Big Mama's alive. Big Mama's on vacation. And so Martin had to play Big Mama and then, I don't know, get some information about Terrence Howard. And then Terrence Howard just broke out of prison. He's like, where'd that bitch go? Oh, Georgia. And then he come down to Georgia. And then everybody. Anthony Anderson is in the movie. He delivers a baby.
This movie sounds wild.
It's a ride. It's a ride. A lot of fat suit, a lot of Crisco.
So your pick is Big Mama.
No. I was like, giving him. But yeah, it's my pick.
He's just making a pitch. That's the second film Courtney's recommended this podcast. First is Norbit. Second, Big Mama's
Just to
House.
check it out, just to round you out. But of course, I'm gonna have to go with Blue Streak.
Hell yeah.
That's
We did it.
Especially because the ending song, that soundtrack of Blue Streak, dun 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 dun.
Yep.
That's
Jay-Z.
oh my god. As a kid, I was like, that song is motherfucking jam. So, National Security had no music for all I remember.
That's what it comes down to.
That
Damn.
generic ass Courtney music.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, Blue Streak had a song by Jay-Z.
Well,
Yeah,
looks like
that's
I won
true.
the
I did
season.
catch that.
I
Yeah, it looks
dominated,
like it.
8-1. Now the overall record is pretty bad. I think you had like maybe a 1 win or a 2
I
win
might have
overall
had you
record
before
over
it
me.
started, but
now
that's okay.
It's over.
I am the underdog.
Courtney,
Like
thank
Martin
you.
Lawrence in any movie.
thank you for choosing these movies and not watching either one.
He'd seen them both at
I've
times.
seen them both a ton.
Nah,
It's just
that-
like,
Courtney, where can the people find you?
I like that you hadn't seen National Security and you said decades, and I'm like, maybe that'll work through its
Yeah,
event.
I
I was
did.
like, that's a good
It
thing,
might help.
actually.
Yeah, I thought it might help.
nah, it's all fun. Maybe I could have remembered Leslie Jones, but where can the people find me, man? You can find me on Instagram, Choco Thunder 6. Follow your boy, or you can find me at NPR. I do sketches there, so if you go to NPR's Instagram or whatever you find NPR's videos, you might see my black ass.
And
I'm
then
gonna
you
say-
got Unserious on your
Oh
YouTube?
yeah, Unserious, my sketch show. Come check that out. It's gonna be hitting the platforms really soon, hopefully. It's a sketch show. Got 10 sketches, 3 episodes. Come on down.
And I'm going to say, if you want to check Courtney out in person and you're in the LA area, you can see him with Leonard performing with Lemon Pepper Wet.
4
on,
Fridays at UCB.
Every fourth Friday at UCB, 10 o'clock.
We're gonna be in St. Louis this week. Hey, we're gonna be in St. Louis tonight, Friday, November
If you are watching this on
14th.
Friday, November 15th,
15th,
and you are in St.
St.
Louis, and you have time, get down to where?
and you have 2 hours because our show is at 7, and we probably won't release this till about 3 o'clock.
Hey,
With 2 o'clock.
this is going to hit for one person. This one person is going to
St.
see this.
Louis.
They're going to come out and they're going to be like, Courtney, I gotta talk to you about Big Mama's House too, and where the series went awry. Hello, Terrence Howard.
It's been a good season.
Oh, no, it hasn't. We're good. Courtney, thank you for coming. Leonard, thanks for being here. I will get your name right from here on out because you are free from punishment now. Until then, we will see you at a Martin Lawrence cop movie at the cinema, or probably straight to VOD.
Mind Cage.
My mind is a cage.
I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna check out Mind Cage.